reading a book, Return on Courage by Ryan Berman. Book about making brave actions, being courageous as a brand, and it led to a strong conversation with my business partners about a vision for the company and our core values and things we want to take a strong statement on and position on, trying to narrow down exactly what our company is going to look like. And we had a fun conversation over cocktails last night about goals, and we're really big on goal setting and where we want to be in 3 years. It's again with this book Traction and how that relates to 90 days. And we're planning a big partners retreat where we're going to take an entire day off just to work on the business, not in the business. And it's really different than taking a 3-hour meeting or something like that, because there is no email to answer, a thing you have to try and get done that day. The whole day is just completely wiped out. We're going to be able to set definitive core values, vision for the company, the way we interact with each other, whose roles are what. Even though we have those roles lined out now, just writing them down so we're all required to do certain things and obligated. That way none of us have a specific boss. We just are obligated to do different things for our business partners and the business in general. Being at capacity was a thing that we talked about, where we're at. We had a client meeting yesterday before we ended up going out and having a lengthier conversation, and he basically asked, like, hey, I've got a company to introduce you guys to, but are you at capacity? I don't want my business to feel the effects of introing you to somebody else. I basically told him, we're not at capacity, A, but B, even if we were, we would just eliminate small accounts and make room for one large account. A big part of the conversation yesterday was, do we want a small business part of our business, where we take these smaller accounts that we sign and just push them into the small business part of our company? And I really think it could be helpful for keeping cash flow coming in, but I don't want to lose the quality controls, and that would mean we have, in order to make any money on that part of the business, we'd have to have a less than exceptional buyer, I think, in terms of salary and commission rates to actually make any money. And that would give that buyer a chance to make a lot of educational steps. They would learn a ton from more senior buyers, and it would be a way for them to grow in the company and see a future place for themselves. But it would also require us to do a lot of management of that person. So we were asking each other, like, I was challenging the guys that do a little more of the ad buys than I do. I'm a little more of the biz dev stuff. Like, do you want to manage this person? Would you even want to manage them? What about the idea of hiring someone who maybe even is better than we are, better buyers, and paying more, but not even having to worry about anything at all because they have got it? That is a concept that needs to be discussed, and it was a real tough question to answer. I don't think they were even ready at the end. I don't think we even resolved whether they did or did not want to hire somebody that's a little more novice or somebody that's way more senior, because it's a big step in the direction of the company and giving away a little bit of the oversight that might be required, or the control that you might desire as the business owner. It just potentially leads to more stresses, I guess. But if the person is exceptional, then there would be less stress because they're all over it. It's just a debate. Do we 86 smaller accounts, only work on less bigger accounts, and hire people to work on bigger accounts and work on premium buyers, or do we have this small business section where there's a more fluid in and out of clients? Maybe, I don't know. We'll see. We talked about growth and broke down some numbers. We're at 7,800% growth this year from Q1 to Q4. And to do that again, we would have to sign if we kept the small business portion of our business, we'd have to sign 1 small business account per week and 2 large business accounts per month. It's a little below the pace we're on right now, but we're ramping. So it wouldn't have to be like we have to sign 1 per week from January, let's say, if that's when our year starts, our Q1 is. We could sign 3 in a month, or 1 big one, and then ramp up as we get into summer of 2020. We could start signing more accounts. Maybe there'd be 3 big ones that we take on and make up for it. It's not like it's a 1-for-1 thing. It's fluid, but that is the pace that we need to sign clients at, which is, I think, extremely achievable based on our pace and capabilities. We just need to make sure that we're ready to scale and bring on new buyers and find those buyers to do it, and having fun talking about what it looks like. We talked about how these people get paid. We met with a CPA, and he had recommended heavily heavily doing a bonus structure. I think any buyer is going to need commission, and a fixed bonus structure is the easiest way to avoid confrontation or conflicts with people about their pay, because it's either you're getting the bonus or you're not. And anytime there's a commission involved, there can be confusion and frustrations, and especially with ad buys, like if you touched a platform or not, are you getting paid on that or not? You put one ad up and it didn't do well, but there was oversight, so now you're working on management. I mean, I don't know. So initially, another part of the conversation was, okay, do we pay people more as salary and bonus as well, or do we have a lower to average size salary with almost like a draw, where there's a fixed managed dollars amount, and then any growth on top of that you get commissioned out on, that would represent a potentially higher number or the same OTE, just a different way of achieving it. What is going to attract the buyers that we so desire, and what is going to make us comfortable? There's also the other idea that, you know, if we start other products, which we've done a lot, we could give equity away to buyers as a way for them to avoid having like a side hustle, as it were, and just put those extra efforts into the products that they have equity in. That is something we're very seriously considering, but it would also mean not scaling the agency to an enormous level. It would mean getting the agency to a very, very comfortable income level, and then stopping excessive growth on the agency side and reinvesting that time and energy into products, which would ultimately make us more money, or software development, you know, whatever it might be. And then giving equity to buyers that spend extra time buying traffic for that in that company as something that we had heavily considered as well. Next steps really for us, this year we're gonna have a payroll company that launches, a bookkeeper just launched, health insurance start getting paid for by the company and offered by the company, and then changing our company from an LLC to a C Corp, I guess something we need to do for a lot of advantages, which maybe I'll put in a different video. But some of the changes and structural things that we're trying to put in place are getting done. You know, I put a form together last week for what kind of communication should happen. Well, my business partners are a lot better at the business operations. It occurs to me, it seems pretty effortless for them. I love talking about it, brainstorming it, but these guys really have this kind of structural mind, and they can just kind of see the way it should operate, it should work. And I'm really trying to encourage them to just dive into that role and embrace it. It feels like a lot of people want to be in the salesy kind of role and closing business or something like that, but the operations side of an agency is so incredibly important. It is the ultimate stability of the entire company, because sales is going to be not as consistent and stable as revenue that comes every month. So I think that we're getting closer to dividing up the powers that be within the company, because remember, it's just 4 of us at this point, and one of the things that we really need to do before the end of the year is put our org chart together, define the roles, and I'm excited to start having those conversations. We've got this all-day retreat to try and iron some of this out, and a big part of what we want to talk about is, what do you want to do? You know, I think that some of my business partners might be better at things that they're not doing as much. They're not spending as much time doing things that they could be, and whether they enjoy that and want to get there. Okay, you want to be there, how do we get you there? What's it look like? How many people do you need underneath you? And then let's set a goal for 90 days, 180 days, 365 days to make sure you're in that position as soon as possible. Because, you know, as reading this book, if you're doing your unique ability, your thing you're best at, it's only going to help the company. So what are the assets? What are we best at? How can we get ourselves in the position to do that more often? Because it's going to help the company quicker, help the company more, and really put us in the best possible position that we can be in. Anyway, a little bit of growth here. Exciting day, and we'll see what happens here in the future. See you in the next video.